Hey there, folks. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to follow SkyAlert USA to catch this and all our future videos. If you like what you see, go ahead and support us by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. We really appreciate your feedback and support. Weather alert. Major storm systems impact North America. February 10th, 2026. Good day, weather watchers. This is your SkyAlert USA update for Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, bringing you the latest on significant weather events impacting the United States and Canada. We're tracking multiple major weather systems that are bringing everything from historic flooding in Hawaii to dangerous winter conditions across the Great Lakes and unprecedented temperature swings from coast to coast. Let's dive into the details of what's happening right now and what to expect over the next 72 hours. Breaking. Hawaii. Storm crisis continues. Our top story today continues to be the devastating storm system that has battered the Hawaiian Islands since this past weekend. This powerful weather event has prompted Governor Josh Green to issue an emergency proclamation, and the impacts have been nothing short of catastrophic in some areas. The numbers tell a staggering story. Over the past 48 hours, parts of Hawaii have received more than 25 inches of rainfall, with Laupahoehoe on the Big Island's Hamakua coast recording the highest totals. To put that in perspective, that's more than 2 feet of rain in just 2 days. An absolutely astounding amount that would strain any infrastructure system. Wind gusts have peaked at 70 miles per hour across multiple islands, with sustained winds of 25 to 40 mph, creating dangerous conditions for anyone outdoors. These powerful winds have caused widespread power outages, with Hawaiian Electric reporting that more than 12,700 customers lost power at the height of the storm on Sunday, though crews have worked tirelessly to restore service to approximately 45,000 customers in the 24 hours since. The flooding situation remains critical. Flash flood warnings have been issued repeatedly for Hawaii Island, particularly affecting the Hamakua and Hilo districts. Radar imagery has shown training storms. That's when multiple thunderstorm cells move over the same area in succession, dramatically increasing rainfall totals and flood risk. This phenomenon has led to dangerous flash flooding conditions, particularly in urban areas where rapid runoff has overwhelmed drainage systems. Road closures have been extensive. The iconic Hana Highway on Maui faced complete blockages when a large tree fell near mile marker 21 in Wailua. Highway 19 on the Big Island saw temporary closures due to landslides along the Hamakua coast. These aren't just inconveniences, they're potentially life-threatening situations that have isolated communities and hampered emergency response efforts. At higher elevations, the storm has taken on a different character. The summits of Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa on the Big Island have been under winter storm warnings, with more than 12 inches of snow accumulation at elevations above 11,000 feet. Wind gusts at these heights have reached 50 mph, creating whiteout conditions and making travel impossible. As of this morning, Tuesday, February 10th, conditions are finally beginning to improve. The high wind warning has been downgraded to wind advisories for most islands, and the statewide flood watch has been allowed to expire. However, emergency officials are warning that the ground remains highly saturated, and even moderate additional rainfall could trigger renewed flooding. State offices and public schools, which were closed on Monday, are scheduled to reopen today, and city facilities across Oahu are resuming normal operations. The recovery effort is just beginning. Repair crews are working around the clock to restore damaged utility lines, clear debris from roadways, and assess the full extent of the damage. While this storm is easing, it serves as a powerful reminder of the intense weather systems that can develop in the Pacific and the vulnerability of island communities to such events. California and the Sierra Nevada. Precipitation returns. Shifting our focus to the mainland, we're tracking an important weather development for California and the Intermountain West. After an exceptionally dry January that saw the Sierra Nevada lose much of its early-season snowpack, a new frontal system is finally bringing much-needed precipitation to the region. This upper-level trough, currently positioned in the Pacific, began moving into California and the Central Great Basin early this morning. The National Weather Service Weather Prediction Center is forecasting that this system will bring a modest plume of moisture into the Sierra Nevada, with snow levels initially around 7,000 feet before dropping to approximately 6,000 feet. For the higher elevations of the Sierra, we're talking about areas above 8,000 feet, snowfall rates could exceed 1 inch per hour tonight and into Wednesday morning. The Weather Prediction Center has issued probabilities greater than 50% for at least 8 inches of snow accumulation above 6,000 feet, with likely amounts that's greater than 80% probability, of 18 inches or more above 8,000 feet. This is significant news for several reasons. First, the Sierra Nevada endured what forecasters called its own version of dry January, historically one of the wettest months of the year in California. This dry spell eroded the gains made from holiday storms at the start of the year, leaving snowpack levels 50 to 70% below normal across many basins. Water resource managers have been increasingly concerned as the Sierra snowpack serves as California's natural reservoir, slowly releasing water throughout the spring and summer. While this current storm won't completely erase the season's deficit, it's a welcome step in the right direction. The system is expected to continue eastward through Wednesday, strengthening as it moves over the Great Basin and into the Central Rockies. Areas from the Sierra Nevada through the central Intermountain West can expect periods of rain and snow to continue through late this week. Ski resorts in the region are cautiously optimistic. After watching brown patches appear on lower slopes during the prolonged dry spell, any significant snowfall is welcome news. However, forecasters caution that one storm doesn't make a season, and February and March will need to deliver consistent systems to bring snowpack back to normal levels. Well, folks, the eastern half of the country sure is seeing its own dynamic weather pattern, with a classic Alberta Clipper system bringing snow and wintry precipitation to the Great Lakes region before diving into the northeast by midweek. These Clipper systems, they're named for their fast movement from Western Canada across the northern United States, and they're pretty typical of February weather patterns. Now, while they don't usually produce the massive snowfall totals of those slower-moving coastal storms, they can still deliver several inches of accumulation and honestly create some hazardous travel conditions because of their speed and the snow squalls they generate. According to the latest forecasts, this system will bring accumulating snow to parts of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and western New York today, with the heaviest bands shifting into the interior northeast. So think central New York, Vermont, New Hampshire and Maine by Wednesday morning. We're looking at snowfall amounts of 2 to 6 inches in the hardest hit areas, with some spots, especially those favoured lake effect zones downwind of the Great Lakes, maybe picking up as much as 8 inches. What makes this stand out, really, is the timing. This system is moving through just as some areas of the northeast are finally getting a break from a brutal cold snap that saw temperatures drop to levels not experienced in years. For example, New York City's Central Park recorded a low of just 3 degrees Fahrenheit on Sunday morning, the coldest temperature there since February 4th, 2023. Cold weather advisories were in effect across the entire tri-state area through Monday morning. The good news for those of you tired of the cold temperatures are on the rise. By this afternoon, highs will climb into the upper 20s to around 30 degrees across the New York metro area. And looking ahead, temperatures will keep trending upward, reaching the mid and upper 30s later this week, with the low 40s not out of the question by the weekend. Our neighbours up north are still grappling with the realities of winter, with several provinces under weather warnings and advisories. Toronto and much of southern Ontario are dealing with periods of snow today. The forecast is calling for 2 to 4 centimetres of accumulation, with temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark. Tonight, snow will taper off to flurries, but temperatures will drop to around -5 degrees Celsius. Environment Canada has issued yellow warning advisories for cold conditions in the city of Toronto and surrounding areas. The cold situation is even more severe in Ottawa, where temperatures plunged to -15 degrees Celsius overnight. A system will bring 5 to 10 centimetres of snow to the nation's capital today, with the possibility of some freezing drizzle developing overnight. Wind chill values are making it feel like -19 this morning, only moderating a bit to -11 this afternoon. The Atlantic provinces are also seeing active winter weather. Halifax is dealing with blustery northwest winds gusting up to 40 kilometres per hour, along with about a 30% chance of flurries and temperatures sitting around -6 degrees Celsius. Clearing is expected this afternoon, but temperatures will drop to -10 tonight. Maybe most concerning are the extreme cold warnings that remain in effect for parts of Ontario. Wind chills of -30 to -35 have been recorded, creating dangerous conditions for anyone spending much time outdoors. Environment Canada is emphasising that extreme cold puts everyone at risk, but especially young children, older adults, people with chronic illnesses, those working or exercising outdoors, and folks without proper shelter. Frostbite can develop within minutes on exposed skin in these conditions, especially with wind chill. Authorities are urging folks to dress in layers, make sure the outer layer is wind-resistant, and check on elderly family members, friends, and neighbours. And remember, if it's too cold for you to stay outside, it's too cold for your pets as well. One of the most remarkable things about the current weather pattern is the dramatic temperature gradient across North America. While the Northeast has been stuck in a deep freeze and Canada keeps battling that Arctic air, much of the western and central United States is actually experiencing above-average temperatures. The Pacific Coast, Great Basin and High Plains have seen temperatures running significantly above normal, with some areas experiencing readings 10 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit above average. This warmth has been gradually spreading eastward and is expected to extend into the southwestern Corn Belt by early next week. Agricultural forecasters are noting that unstable atmospheric conditions ahead of strong cold fronts are resulting in snow showers and gusty winds in the Midwest, especially in the Great Lakes region. Midwestern high temperatures have mostly stayed below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which really creates a stark contrast with the suddenly warm weather from the western Gulf Coast region to the Mississippi Delta, where high temperatures have ranged from 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature pattern is creating what meteorologists call a baroclinic zone. That's an area where there's a strong temperature contrast. These zones are breeding grounds for storm development, and that's why we keep seeing active weather along this boundary. 3-day forecast. What to expect through Friday. Looking ahead to the next 72 hours, here's what you can expect across different regions. On Tuesday, February 10th, the Hawaiian storm continues to weaken, though isolated showers and gusty winds will persist through the afternoon. California and the Sierra Nevada will see increasing precipitation, with snow levels lowering tonight. The Great Lakes Clipper system will bring snow to the region, spreading into the interior northeast by evening. Temperature moderation continues in the east. Now, for Wednesday, February 11th, heavy snow at higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada, with snowfall rates potentially exceeding an inch per hour. The Clipper system will be moving through the northeast, bringing accumulating snow to interior areas. Temperatures will continue to warm in the eastern United States, with highs reaching the mid-30s to low 40s in many areas. Western warmth persists. On Thursday, February 12th, the Sierra storm system continues eastward into the central Rockies. Lake-effect snow may develop downwind of the Great Lakes. Dry weather expands across much of the eastern United States. High pressure builds across the west, maintaining above-average temperatures. Canada sees a brief respite in some areas, though cold conditions persist in the far north. Severe weather potential. While we're not tracking any tornado outbreaks or severe thunderstorm complexes at this time, the contrast between air masses does create the potential for localized strong winds and brief heavy downpours along frontal boundaries, particularly in the Southern Plains and Mississippi Valley later this week. We'll continue to monitor this situation. Looking ahead, folks, there are some long-range signals worth talking about. The extended forecast shows some interesting developments. Long-range models are depicting an active southern stream through the rest of February, which could mean additional precipitation for the southwestern United States. And, well, a secondary trough or closed low feature is expected to drop south along the west coast late in the period, encouraging ridging across the central part of the country. The NOAA climate prediction. Center's 6 to 10-day outlook for February 11th through 15th calls for the likelihood of near or above normal temperatures across most of the country, except for some lingering cooler conditions in parts of the northeast. Precipitation is also forecast to be near or above normal for much of the nation. We'd be remiss not to mention the ongoing recovery from the severe winter storms that affected multiple states in late January and early February. FEMA has approved emergency declarations for 12 states, including Tennessee and Mississippi, allowing federal expertise and resources to help protect lives and property. State and local governments continue to lead recovery efforts, with power restoration and generator installation remaining primary focuses. While immediate life safety concerns have largely been addressed, many communities continue to deal with infrastructure damage, and officials remind residents to remain vigilant for any potential lingering impacts. As we track these various weather systems, please remember these critical safety points. For those in Hawaii, the ground remains saturated, so stay away from streams, ravines and valleys. Do not drive through standing water, and brown water advisories remain in effect. For mountain areas in the west, if you're heading to the Sierra Nevada or Rockies, check road conditions before you travel. Avalanche danger may increase with new snow loading, and never venture into the backcountry alone. For those dealing with extreme cold in Canada and the northern United States, limit time outdoors, dress in layers, check on vulnerable neighbours, and bring pets indoors. If you must travel, carry emergency supplies in your vehicle. What we're witnessing across North America right now is a textbook example of the dynamic and sometimes dangerous weather patterns that characterize midwinter. From tropical-style flooding in Hawaii to mountain blizzards in the Rockies, from bone-chilling cold in Canada to spring-like warmth in parts of the South, the continent is experiencing the full spectrum of winter weather. These aren't just statistics and forecasts, they're real events affecting real people. Our thoughts are with everyone impacted by severe weather, from those cleaning up from flooding in Hawaii to those enduring extreme cold in the north. Stay weather aware, stay safe, and keep checking back with SkyAlert USA for the latest updates. Weather doesn't sleep, and neither do we. Until next time, this is your Sky